It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Today, 2 outstanding elementary schools here to play our game. Play along with us and test your own science IQ. Let's meet today's teams. First from Laurel Elementary School, would you please say hello to Lamine Diaby, Sean Shackelford, and Nadia Baker. And from Patuxent Elementary, here they are, Zayla Rankim, Michaela Caldwell, and Justina Kamara. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left. They're worth 5 and 10. The tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. End of the 2 rounds today, one of these 2 talented, good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance in our competition toward the semifinals. Let's make sure everything works properly before we start. Let's go over to the red team. Sean, try your buzzer for me. Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Nadia, and to Lamine. And the green team, Michaela, give it a push. That's the way to do it. Good luck to you and to Justina and to Zayla. Congratulations for being here today. Y'all look a little nervous and a little shy. That's normal, but you're going to warm up and we're going to have a good time here today. Good luck. We go alphabetically L before P, so Laurel and Sean. Let's start the bowl.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, there is a group of mammals called edentates, but the reptile who starred in the movie How to Train Your Dragon probably could be part of that group. Patuxent.
I think it's...
What you got, ladies?
Stan, what do you think?
Laurel, let's give you a chance. There's a group of mammals called edentates, but the reptile that starred in the movie How to Train Your Dragon could have been a member. Who was it? No, it's red team.
A kimono dragon?
No, Toothless was his name. Toothless the dragon. Edentate means without teeth. We thought maybe you had seen that movie. All right, you get one chance to ring in. You can't ring in a second time. We'll try again, red. Sean.
Red. Okay. Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, if someone says, oh, you're like pond scum, that's a derogatory term, but pond scum is a real substance. It's when the filamentous form of these common green plants that you find in your aquarium form a mat on the top of the water. Sean?
Algae?
Algae, yeah. Algae is what that pond scum is. Plants that photosynthesize. Now we're cooking. Go red.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. There is an actor by the name of Alan Alda. He also does science shows. And when he was your age, he asked his teacher, what is a flame? And she had a one-word answer for him that began with the letter O. What is a term that begins with the letter O that oftentimes is used with fire?
Oxygen.
Laurel?
Oxygen.
A little more.
A gas, 8th on the periodic table.
Has to begin with an O.
Oxygen.
No, sir. Good try. Patuxent, flame, you can equate that with what term that begins with the letter O. That's what the teacher explained to Mr. Alda a flame was. It's oxidation. Oxidation, when something burns. That's what we were looking for. We needed you to expand that a little bit more. Okay, Sean, try again.
What do you want?
Green things for 20.
Okay. Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Conifers, like evergreen trees, are different from flowering plants because their seeds that are contained in these things are naked. What are the seed containers on carnivorous plants called, Patuxent?
Pine cones?
Pine cones, that's what I want to hear. Yeah, the pine cones, and they just kind of flare out, and the seeds, they're open to the air, and that's why they don't need pollinators. They depend on the wind. Okay, 55 to 60, Patuxent, your advantage. Go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, if you're sleeping and your eyes start to move rapidly, that's a sign that you might be doing this of maybe a white Christmas, like the ones you used to know. Laurel?
You're probably snowing.
No, what are you doing if you're sleeping and your eyes start to move rapidly? You might be doing this of a white Christmas, Michaela.
Waking up.
Dreaming of a white Christmas. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Try again, Green. What you got?
Zoo parade for 5.
Soup parade for 5 points. All right, teams. We know that lions live in prides, giraffes live in herds, and orcas live in pods, whereas fish, even though they don't do homework or study algebra, live in these.
School.
Please wait till I recognize you. Laurel, go.
Schools.
Schools is
Sorry.
right. Schooling fish. All right, go again, Red.
Science potpourri for 5.
Science potpourri for 5 points. Teams, if you are on Twitter, if you're sending tweets, you know that they recently changed it and the star for favorite was removed, and they're using this cardiac symbol, Laurel.
Your heart.
Your heart, yes, to represent likes. That's exactly right. Okay, Red, where?
Body systems for 10.
Body system for 10 points. Teams, these flakes of skin that are sloughed off your scalp and sometimes get on your shoulders, Laurel.
Dandruff.
Yeah, dandruff. People don't like it, but yeah, scientists have found that there's DNA in those little pieces of skin that they can trace back to the environment. All right, the buzzer is rung. Our score at this juncture is 75 for Laurel, 60 for Patuxent, and we'll be right back with the second part of our game. Don't go away.
I started mentoring my mentee, Dantre, 4 years ago. I always thought about doing it. It always seemed like a good idea.
We were both nervous when we first met, but everything kind of fell into place.
Mentoring is important to anyone that's pretty fortunate in life to have a little bit of time to pass on that knowledge.
Etienne's a very close friend. I look at him as a brother and a father figure. He taught me just focus on the big picture because I would like to give back just like Etienne gave back to me. Be someone who matters to someone who matters.
If you're like most families, you probably have video game fans in your home. But not every game is right for every kid, which is where the ESRB ratings come in. They help parents make informed decisions for their kids. And there's an easy-to-use mobile app that gives you detailed info on specific game ratings. Video game consoles have parental controls that you can set to block certain games by age rating, so they get all the fun, and you get peace of mind.
And welcome back to Science Bowl. So nice to have you here. Today we've got 5 young people here who have never played our game before and 1 veteran, and he's doing a fantastic job. In fact, all 6 of them are. Before we ask any more science questions, let's find out a little bit about our players and their schools. Laurel Elementary. Laurel, your school has been coming here for many years. You always have a great team, and you have no alternates on your team. You 3 are it.
Yep.
And Sean, I was just saying that one of our players has been here before, and that would be you. It's nice to have you back. You're a great player. Tell me about Laurel Elementary. Who's your principal?
Miss Lee. Linda Lee.
Okay, who's talking?
Okay. Okay. Miss Melinda Lee.
Miss Melinda Lee, yes, and I know she's a big supporter of yours. And Miss Clarissa Blake is the sponsor, correct?
Yes.
And she's here today. We'll bring her out in just a few moments.
And then I have another person, Miss Walker, our librarian.
Oh, is she here today too? Isn't that nice that she came along? Thank you, Miss Walker. We'll see you too with Miss Blake in a few moments here. Thanks for telling me about that. Sean, I like to ask students, as you know, the best thing about their school. What is something you brag about when you tell people about where you go?
The teachers.
Teachers, yeah, boy. If you don't have great teachers, why bother going, right?
Yeah.
Because you need some advocates, you need some people there who have something to give you so that when you come out, you know more than you entered. What do you want to do someday, Sean?
Be a lawyer.
Yeah, and you want to be the Attorney General of the United States.
Yes.
That's what he told me earlier. He wants to be like Loretta Lynch someday and take her position. And you have a good feistiness about you. You know, and I'm on your case about jumping in too fast, but as a lawyer, you're going to have to do that. So don't mind me here. Nice to have you here on the game. What do you do in your spare time, Sean?
I have karate on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and sometimes I go on Saturdays if I feel like it.
Wow, you're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
And then I have honors chorus, which is the best singers in Prince George's County.
Thank you for that advertisement. They appreciate that. That confidence is important. And I mean, you're a soccer player, right?
Yes.
And what else do you do in your spare time?
I like to do first in math.
Yeah, that's great. And you want to be an engineer someday?
Yes.
Do you like to take things apart?
Yes. I like to build.
Yeah, and build things up. And so obviously you're a good math student too. And you're doing a nice job here today in the second half. Talk more to Sean. Okay. I've seen you doing that. You know, it takes a while to get used to this thing here. And Nadia, nice to have you here. You're only in the 4th grade.
Yes.
How did you become part of this team? Did you try out? Or did Miss Blake just see the talent and say, I want you on the team?
She asked.
She asked, and you said yes, and we're happy that she did and that you did. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a judge.
A judge? Wow. So you're going to be a lawyer someday? The law is a common theme between you and Sean over here. How'd you get interested in that?
It's mostly because in some places where I go, people aren't treating other people fairly, and I don't think that's right.
People need advocates, and that's what lawyers all are. They fight battles that people can't fight themselves. So I think that's a great and noble ambition, Nadia. Nice to have you here, and Sean is applauding you over there. Patuxent, nice to have you girls here today, and you're wearing your school uniform over there, the matching blue polo shirts. And Patuxent's down in, well, where is it?
In Upper Marlboro.
Upper Marlboro, that's right. And the principal of your school?
Miss Dr. Washington.
Dr. Washington.
Dr. Washington, as I know, she's out there supporting you, and your sponsor, Miss Garcia, is here today?
Yes.
Yes. Did you have any other adults with you today?
Yes, my dad.
Your dad. Well, your dad is out there. He's your big #1 supporter and fan for sure. And I know you have a shadow team of alternates. What are their first names?
It's Logan, Jessica, and Kyla.
All right, we'll bring all of them out with Miss Garcia in just a few moments here. Best thing about Patuxent, is it the teachers? I'm sure it's the teachers. What else?
I like that they support us when we're with our work.
Yeah.
And they help us if we need help with our work also.
Yeah, because not everybody progresses at the same rate. So if you're falling behind and you start getting anxious, it's nice to have a calming presence there. Say, just take your time and I'll explain it again. Thanks, Michaela. What do you want to do someday?
I would like to go in the medical field.
Yeah. You got interested in that? How?
My cousins, I really inspire my cousin, Madison, because she wants to be a pharmacist, but I don't necessarily want to be a pharmacist, but I would like to be something in the medical field.
Absolutely. And we all get sick, and we all need medical help, and even more so today, it seems. So that's a great ambition. You're a good player. Keep it up. Justina, nice to have you with us today. Tell us the Justina story. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, sometimes I like to do gymnastics, and I like to draw and do different types of art.
Yeah, and all three of you girls are artistic, and you're athletic, and you're scholarly, and you're great examples of what students should be over there. And what do you aspire to someday, Justina? What do you think?
One day I would like to be a doctor because I like taking care of people, and if they get sick, I would like to treat them and get them help.
Absolutely, and that's what we want. If we're sick, we want the doctor to give us a pill or do something to make us walk out that door so we can feel more like ourselves. Nice to have you on the show. Zayla, nice to have you here. I like that sparkle you got on there. You look good. You're welcome. Tell me about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I do gymnastics and I draw, but usually and I dance in my spare time too, but usually I sing most of the time because I just do it unconsciously. I just really like singing. And
Do you want to sing a little something for us today? I would not put you on the spot. I'm just kidding with you, but it sounds like you have a good singing voice and you're athletic, and that comes from your dancing. And nice to have you here. What grade are you in, Zayla?
Fifth.
Fifth grade. So these are some tough questions for 4th and 5th and 6th graders, aren't they? But just listen to the clues, and we're going to do fine in the second half. Let's get back to it. Our score is Laurel 75, Patuxent 60, and lots of points to give away. Some of the tougher ones, so put on your thinking caps. All right, roll up your sleeves. Let's do it. Last correct answer came from the red team. Sean, let's go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, if you're in chemistry class and you mix together nitrogen and hydrogen, you're going to get ammonia, which is different from nitrogen and hydrogen. So instead of a physical change, this is now a, Laurel?
Chemical change.
Chemical change, absolutely right, or a chemical reaction. Good. Red.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri. 10 points. Team's question is as follows. If a glacier drops part of itself off into the ocean, it's an iceberg. That process of a glacier forming an iceberg is the same word, they use the same word as when a cow has a baby. What is that word when a cow has a baby? Same word that describes a glacier forming an iceberg. All right, Laurel.
Calf?
Calf, or calving, absolutely right. They calve it. Good. See what happens if you take a chance? You'll surprise yourself. Because you're probably thinking, what do you call a baby cow? Calf. Maybe that's it. And you're right. Good. Red. What you got?
Dayline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, what famous scientist said this? Listen to all that I am going to read for you. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives, but it's the one that is the most adaptable, Laurel.
Charles Darwin.
You got that right. Charles Darwin, the man who taught us all about evolution. Finally see a Nadia smile over there. I'm glad to see you relax a little bit. Good answer. Some high fives going on over there. You're at 100 points. All right, keep going.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, the fictitious planet Tatooine in Star Wars movies is part of a binary star system, which means Tatooine orbits not one, but 2 of these, Laurel.
2 suns. 2 suns?
Suns, absolutely right. Thanks, Lamine. Yeah, binary star, 2 suns. It goes around 2 suns instead of 1. Red. Go, Sean.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, listen carefully to this. It's an easy answer, but you ought to listen to the whole thing. This animal that has a brood pouch can give birth to babies in the morning, can be pregnant by that night, and is often called Mr. Mom.
Kangaroo.
Patuxent.
Kangaroo.
Not a kangaroo. Nope. Laurel, good try.
Opossum?
Nope. A seahorse. A seahorse. Mr. Mom, remember, it's the male that gives birth. I said, listen to every clue. You were hung up on brooding pouch, but you never listened to the last part. A seahorse ejects all those babies, can be pregnant that night, and is called Mr. Mom. Red. Where's so?
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. All right. There's something called reindeer moss that reindeer eat, but it's not moss. Nope, it's one of these L initial kinds of things that's a mix of an algae and a fungus together. Algae and fungus, you put them together and they form this L initial thing that is what the reindeer eat. Does anybody have an idea what we call that thing? It's called a lichen. A lichen. You ever hear of a word called a lichen? It's half algae, half fungus. All right, try again, Red.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, there's a new science prize called the Breakthrough Awards that awards you $3 million. That's twice as much as what other famous science prizes that only award you $1.5 million? What are the famous science prizes that are given out every year in chemistry, physics, and biological sciences? Nobel Prizes, Nobel Prizes. Everybody should know that. If you watch Science Bowl, you know there are always questions about Nobel Prizes. Try again, red. 105 to 60 advantage, Laurel. Let's go.
Dateline for 5.
Dateline, 5 points. I know you know this one. The new movie, The Good Dinosaur, takes place because they think what didn't happen, Sean?
The asteroid didn't hit Earth.
Yeah, the asteroid just went buzzing right on by. There was no extinction, and the dinosaurs grew up to be like people. They were farmers, and the people were like dogs. Okay, red. Go.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, these big body organs that are always moving have no muscles attached to them, but change shape based on changes in air pressure. Someone's got a ring. Laurel?
The lungs?
The lungs, yeah. The lungs, the air pressure. Lots of pressure, low pressure, in and out. That's what changes their shape. There are no lung muscles. And I could see you thinking through, and that's the way to do it. Think, what does he say in there? What are those clues? Red. Where are we going?
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points is a multiple choice question. Listen carefully, teams. No, it's not. It's not a multiple choice question. This is body systems for 20 points. Teams, one of the leading causes of blindness, especially in Africa, is something called trachoma, where bacteria gets underneath your eyelid and starts to scar. What clear part of the eye that is on the front there? What's that clear part called for 20 points, Laurel?
The lens?
Not the lens. Good try. Come on, Patuxent. You need some points here. What's that clear, transparent part of the eye that is scarred when that inflamed inner eyelid goes across it?
The pupil?
No, the cornea. The cornea was the name of the eye part we were looking for there. Good tries. No points. Try again, red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, what is the E-initialed kind of science that is the study of organisms and how they relate to each other and their whole environment? The study of the environment is known as what E-initialed science? Come on, Patuxent.
Economy?
Ooh, not economics. Good try. What's the E-initialed science that's the study of the environment, Sean?
Earth science?
Not earth science. Good try as well. Ecology. Ecology was the name of the science. Go red.
15. Let's get physical for 20.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams, the reason why an airplane can take off, which seems impossible, is because of something called Bernoulli's principle, which means that the faster that the air moves, the lower this P-initialed thing is. The faster the air moves, the lower this P-initialed thing is.
Pressure?
Come on, Patuxent.
Pressure?
Pressure, that's it, yeah. So it lowers the pressure and it helps to lift that plane up. If you're on a plane, you think, how can this ever get off the ground? Okay, go green. We'll turn that light off over there in front of Michaela, and Michaela, you get to choose.
Super 8 for 20.
Super 8 for 20 points. This is the multiple choice question. Teams, the horn of a rhino, it's like your fingernails or your hair. It's made of a protein called cementin, keratin, or Kevlar. What is the name of the protein that makes up the horn of the rhino and your hair and your fingernails? Keratin, Kevlar, or cementin, Laurel?
Keratin.
Keratin, absolutely right. Good answer. Go, red.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, succulent is a word that describes like a juicy steak. But a succulent plant is one of these kinds of plants. Come on, Laurel.
A carnivorous plant?
Not a carnivorous plant. That's a good try. A succulent plant, I said succulent is an adjective that means juicy. Give me an example of a succulent plant. What you think?
A tropical plant?
That's a good try. It's the exact opposite. The plants that live in the deserts, like cactus that store all that water. Those are the succulents. Those little things you see called hens and chickens, the aloes and all. Yeah, you knew that. It just didn't pop into your head at the right time. 145 to 80 advantage red. Sean?
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. All right, teams. This U.S. moon mission with an unlucky number almost had all the astronauts die when an oxygen tank exploded. What was the name of that moon mission with the unlucky number, Laurel?
I think it's Apollo 13.
Yes, sir. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Nicely done. Thanks, Nadia, for your assist. Go, Sean.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25, the big one in that category. Teams, when pollen, which is a male cell, lands on a plant's female reproductive organ, that's pollination. But seeds won't develop until pollination is followed by what F-initialed process? Laurel?
Fertilizing.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Pollination, then fertilization. Now we're talking business. Thanks, Lamine, for that. Our buzzer says the game is over. It's been a good one. All these young people did a great job, and we'll be back with a wrap-up in a moment. Don't go away.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
And welcome back to Science. Well, hope you enjoyed today. Great job by all 6 of our players. Actually, there are 9 players here with those alternates. Our final tally today is Patuxent 80, Laurel 190. Congratulations to Lamine and Sean and Nadia. Let's see some smiles over there. Sean, you don't need any prompting for that. Miss Blake, congratulations. We'll see you in the next round. And let's see some big smiles over there. Michaela and Justina and Zayla, you did a nice job. You'd never done this before, but you'd never know it. You played a nice game. And look at the 3 alternates back there, Logan and Jessica and Kyla. And Miss Garcia, thank you for all your support and for doing this yet again. We love having you here. We love having you too. We'll see you next time on the Science Bowl. Bye-bye.
With video games, I'm always choosing between what my kids want and what I think is best for them.
Hey, Mom, how about this one?
Which is why I love these new rating summaries. They let me know exactly what's in the game. Combat, explosions, 2 female warriors, exposed cleavage.
Maybe the other one's better.
Yeah. Get your free game rating summary today, and with it, the world's most powerful weapon, knowledge.
I got into business as a hobby. I wasn't really thinking seriously. I said, somebody needs to teach me so I don't go bankrupt. So I went to a store and I met Terry. I talked to her about my party business. This woman understands what I'm saying. There are people with amazing knowledge right there and free. My table linen entertained the First Lady and the Russian First Lady. That's good enough for me.
Get your free business mentor at score.org. Time was, kids did what came naturally, spending free time running through the grass, exploring streams. But times have changed. Today's indoor kids spend more than 7 hours in front of electronic media. That's why National Wildlife Federation created the Be Out There movement. Outdoor play improves kids' health, body, mind, and spirit. It helps them stay fit, enhances creativity, and could even make them better students. There's a reason they call it the great outdoors. Learn more at beoutthere.org.
It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl, the science quiz show here in the Prince George's Schools where we test our students' scientific IQ. Test your own and play along with us today. Let's meet today's teams. Here for the first time ever, we're welcoming the team from Cherokee Lane Elementary. We are so happy to have you here today. Their players are Brooklyn McCoy, Abenoff Samuel, and Nia Moselle. And from Cooper Lane, it's the Battle of the Lanes today. Would you please welcome George Toomey, Wilson Martinez, and Drexel Pareja. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems. We'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to the difficulty of the question, with the easier ones on the left, 5 and 10 points. Tougher questions worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. End of the 2 rounds today, we will have a competitor for Laurel Elementary for the chance to move on to the semifinals. So a lot at stake. Let's make sure everything works properly. Red team, Abenoff, would you try that buzzer for me? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Nia, and to Brooklyn. And Wilson, would you try the green teams? Boy, that's a group push over there. George and Wilson and Drexel. Everything looks like it's in fine order. Congratulations, teams. Nice to have you here today. Congratulations on being among the best students at your schools there. You're good ambassadors, so everybody wins just by being here. Let's have a good game. We go alphabetically, so CH before CO. So this lane, Cherokee, gets to start. Abenoff.
May I have Zoo Parade for 5?
Zoo Parade for 5 points, teams. Scientists now think it was wild ducks and geese that spread a kind of avian flu virus that killed over 48 million of these tasty gobblers that we wanted to eat on Thanksgiving. Cherokee Lane.
Turkey.
Turkey is right, yes. Make sure you ring in before you yell out. I like your enthusiasm, though. Go again, Red.
Science Potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. The satellites that we put up there into the sky, they are falling at the same rate as they're falling away from the curvature of the Earth, which means they're in a state of free fall. It almost seems like what force is missing up there, Cooper Lane?
Gravity?
Gravity, yeah, there is gravity. It's reduced, but that state of free fall gives you the sense that there is none. Nicely done. Go green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, the only other place in our solar system where we think there is water other than Earth is on the moon Titan, which is the largest moon of this 6th Cooper Lane.
Jupiter.
Not Jupiter. It is the largest moon of this 6th planet in our solar system, Cherokee Lane.
Saturn.
Yes, sir. Good comeback. Good try there, Wilson. Cooper Lane, advantage yours.
Let's get physical for 5.
I'm sorry? Cherokee, excuse me, go.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points, teams. There was a sign recently that said, wormy apples at the grocer used to make consumers panic. Now they have to pay twice the price because wormy apples are organic. Organic things in chemistry are those that have what chemical element symbolized by the letter C? Cherokee Lane.
Carbon.
Carbon, yes. Carbon-based chemicals. That is organic chemistry. Good. Red.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25. Boy, the big one in that category. You're going straight for the big ones. Teams, recently the U.S. government said that we could eat in this country now salmon that is bigger than they normally were. They're called GMO salmon because they have been changed somehow. What does GMO stand for? It's very controversial. Genetically modified organisms. They have been tinkered with, their genes have been changed so that they grow faster and bigger than the normal salmon, and some people are wary of eating them, but the government says they are A-OK. Tough question, 25 points, but no one got those. Try again, red.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Listen carefully. These sense organs, even though they don't have teeth, if you're Irish, it is said that they are smiling. What are they? Sense organs. I'm thinking, what are the kinds of sense organs? Which ones might be smiling, even though they don't have any teeth? When these eyes are smiling. Irish eyes was the answer. Try again, red.
Zuparade for 15.
Zuparade for 15 points. All right, teams. Charles Darwin was very confused about how these plant parts evolved, plant parts that are modified petals. What are the parts of the plant that you could consider modified petals? Cherokee Lane?
Leaves.
Not leaves, no. What are modified petals? What plant part would that be?
The stem.
The flower. The flower. Flowers have petals. Go, red.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline science for 5 points. Teams, this movie sounds like it's all about legumes that taste really good when you put salt on them. But it's really about Charlie Brown and his friends. What's the movie? Charlie Brown and his friends. Peanuts. Peanuts. Peanuts are legumes, you know, salted peanuts. Okay. All right, red, try again. Have enough?
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. All right, 4-part answer. If high school students are building bridges out of pasta, like spaghetti, to see how much weight they will hold, they are investigating what 4 subjects in the acronym STEM?
Science.
Cherokee Lane?
Science, math, technology, and engineering.
You got all 4. Nicely done. All right, Cherokee Lane just under the buzzer. Cherokee Lane 85, Cooper Lane 60. Part 2 of Science Ball coming up in just a moment. Don't go away.
Simple moments are what make every day count.
Welcome back to Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. As we were saying at the top of the show, Cherokee Lane, in our 30 years on the air, we have never seen the school. We are just head over heels having you guys here today, and you're wearing your matching shirts over there, and you're bringing all this enthusiasm. So what's it feel like to be making history, Avinav?
It feels great. Like it's an opportunity to be here, and it's a great honor for me.
Absolutely. We're so delighted to have you guys here. Where is Cherokee Lane?
Cherokee Lane, it's Adelphi. It's in Adelphi, Maryland, Adelphi, Maryland.
Absolutely. You're not too far from the University of Maryland, I know. You're kind of in that neighborhood there.
Yes,
and
right next.
Absolutely. Who's your principal?
Miss Hardy.
Miss Hardy, and she's here today.
Yeah,
we're going to bring her out, and she was the one who was on me about getting you on this show here, and we're so happy that you made it. And you have two sponsors, don't you? Who are they?
Miss St. John and Miss Smith.
Wonderful. We'll bring all of those three very important people at Cherokee Lane out to meet you in just a moment. And did you have some alternates on your team?
Yes, we had Jared Fernandez, and that's it.
That's wonderful. And Jared's out there, and he's cheering, and he's yelling those answers, even though we can't hear him in the next room. We'll bring him out in a few moments here. What's the best thing about Cherokee Lane? What do you like to brag about?
The best thing about Cherokee Lane is the teachers.
Yeah, boy, and you've got that big
really
smile
nice
on your face, yeah? And you've got some good teachers over there, and that's the reason you go to school. And so many young people tell me that. Because really, if the food is great and gym is great, who cares? But you need those important, caring people, those role models there. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
Get a medical degree.
Yeah, and then something tells me you're going to do that. You've got a nice spirit about you. You're a good captain. You like to talk to Naya and to Brooklyn there, and you're in the lead, and we're proud of you. Naya, nice to have you. You're welcome. Naya, nice to have you with us today. Tell us about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to draw, write stories, or sometimes I'd paint on like a little canvas that I got for Christmas.
Yeah, you're so well spoken, and I know you want to be an author. I asked her before because she told me she wanted to be a chemist, but you don't want to write about chemistry. You want to write like whom?
Like J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, some of those great, wonderful fantasy stories that she wrote about, books that you can't put down. Nice to have you here today. Brooklyn, nice to have you with us. Tell us the Brooklyn story. Someday, what you going to do?
I want to be a pediatric dentist or a baker.
Or a baker, yeah. And you told me, she was telling me that she makes great cupcakes, and we could have given her some extra points if she'd brought some today for us, but she didn't do that. I'm just joking with you. But baking is something that will always endear you to just about everybody if you take them a cupcake or a cookie. What do you do in your spare time if you're not baking?
I like to draw, paint, dance, or do gymnastics.
Wow, well, you do a lot. And it's so nice to have you here today. You're all bringing a lot to this game. Cooper Lane, nice to have you here. Wilson, nice to have you back again. And you seem calm and collected because you know the routine here. You're wearing matching blue shirts over there. That's the uniform at Cooper Lane?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And who's your principal?
Miss Sims.
Miss Sims, and she's out there rooting for you. Who's your sponsor?
Miss Argalita.
Miss Argalita. And Miss Argalita, Maria has been with us for many, many years. And Maria, thank you for all that you've done for us. You've been a great sponsor, a great coach for so long here on Science Bowl. And Wilson, did you have any alternates on your team?
Yes, we had Brian, we had Sinai, and we had Jan.
All right, yeah. You're supposed to help your main guy there. You did a nice job. You got a shadow team out there. Wilson, best thing about Cooper Lane?
The way we present our work.
Wow, the way you present your work, yeah. And I know I was over there at Cooper Lane. You put on a skit once about bullying, and you made a videotape, and it was really, really well done. And for people who don't know, where is Cooper Lane?
It's in Landover Hills and on a street called Cooper Lane.
Absolutely right, and that makes sense, doesn't it? What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a pediatrician.
Pediatrician. You have a younger brother at home, is that right?
Yes.
Wonderful, and I'm sure he looks up to you. George, nice to have you here. It is George Tommy, not Toomey, as I said at the top of the show. Why'd you want to be on this show?
I want to be on the show because I saw how determined players were and how they were excited about how they answered questions and celebrated with their teammates on how good they performed.
Yeah, well, that's just great. There's a team spirit here and school pride that's involved, and obviously you sense that. What do you want to do someday?
When I grow up, I want to become a computer engineer.
Yeah, and you have a computer at home, obviously.
Yes.
Are you good at math as well?
Yes, I'm good at math.
Wonderful. Well, you're good at science, too. Nice to have you with us. And Drexel may be the youngest contestant we've ever had on Science Bowl. He is a third grader, but don't let that take away from his talent. Why'd you want to be on the show?
Because I wanted to try to present what I feel like in Science Bowl.
Yeah, let people know what you know, because you know a lot. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a paleontologist. Sometimes a meteorologist too, and also in my spare time, I also do karate.
Wow, you just got it all going on. So karate, we're going to give you wide berth. We won't make you angry today. We don't want you throwing us around this room here. All right, let's get back into our game. Cooper Lane 60, Cherokee Lane 85. Lots of points to give away here. Abanoff, start us out.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. On Thanksgiving, even if you ate a huge piece of pumpkin pie and covered it with whipped cream, chances are you did not eat 2,000 of these nutritional units. Cooper Lane.
The guts. Wait.
No, not the guts. You probably didn't eat 2,000 of these nutritional units, even if you ate all that, Abanoff.
Calories?
Calories, yeah, 2,000 calories, which is a lot of calories, but maybe if you ate the whole pie, you'd be up in that neighborhood. Okay, Red. I like guts, by the way. Go ahead.
Super 8 for 10?
Super 8 for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Because of a movie called Blackfish, SeaWorld is now going to cancel all shows starring these kinds of animals, including Shamu. Shamu is a kind of what? Ring the bell. Cherokee Lane.
Whale.
Whale. What kind of whale?
Orcas.
Orcas. Absolutely right. That's the way to do it. All right. See some teamwork over there. Go. Red.
Green things for 5.
May I get green things for 5?
Green things for 5 points. Teams, your hair and your teeth have these anchoring structures just like plants do. Cooper Lane.
Roots.
Roots, that's right. You got roots on your hair, you got roots on your teeth, and plants got roots. You figured it out. That's the way to do it. Go Green. Come on, you need some points.
Super 8 for 20.
Super 8 for 20 points. All right, let's talk larvae here. Caterpillars turn into butterflies and moths. Yep. Grubs turn into beetles. And these turn into houseflies. What are the larvae of houseflies called, Wilson?
Maggots.
Maggots, yes sir, good, go.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25. The big one in that category, teams. James Watt, who invented the steam engine, also came up with this unit that sounds like equine strength that we use when we talk about really, really fast cars. They have a lot of what? Equine strength. What unit does that suggest? Cherokee Lane.
Energy.
Not energy, equine strength. That's your clue. Wilson.
Horsepower.
Horsepower, that's the way I do it. Nice job, gentlemen. Good. Green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Science potpourri for 15 points. Teams, look at that score. Almost a dead heat. Cherokee 100, Cooper 110. This is Science potpourri for 15 points. Teams, CC is copycat or carbon copy, but 1 cubic centimeter CC is equal to 1 ml. ML stands for what in scientific notation? Cooper Lane, go.
Milliliter.
Milliliter. Thank you, Drexel, our third grader. He knew that one. Good. Green.
It's also in
Dateline Science for 15.
Thank you, George. Yes.
Dateline Science for 15.
Dateline Science for 15 points. All right, teams. The fossil remains of one of the earliest humans, even though it's called Australopithecus, was not found in Australia, but rather the southern portion of this continent. Cherokee Lane.
Australia.
No, sir, I just said it was not Australia. Cooper Lane. Australopithecus. That was the name of the fossil remains of one of the earliest human beings. It was not found in Australia, even though it sounds like it was, but rather in the southern part of this continent.
Southern Africa.
That's right, absolutely right, because Australo is a prefix that means southern. Green, go.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, one of the few parts of your body, look at me, Naya, one of the few parts of your body that cannot repair itself are these hardest parts. Name them, Cooper Lane.
Bones.
Not your bones. Cherokee Lane, these parts of your body cannot repair themselves, but they are the hardest parts of your body.
Muscles?
Your teeth. Your teeth. That's why you have to go to the dentist. Go green.
Let's get physical for 20.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams, 75 billion tons of soil are lost every year to this process that means wearing down or wearing away, Cooper Lane.
Erosion.
Erosion, that's it, yeah. Green.
Body systems for 15.
Body assistance for 15 points. Teams, the news is out. If you eat too much bacon, too many processed meats, you could develop cancer in this organ, the large intestine, which is otherwise known as this C-initialed organ. The large intestine is also known as this C-initialed organ. You can develop cancer there if you eat too much bacon or processed meats. Okay, what you got? Yes, sir. Nope. Cooper Lane, what is the C-initialed organ that is another name for the large intestine? It's the colon. It's the colon. Go again, green.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk, worked with 29,000 pea plants to see how they passed along different traits, size, color. Because of that, he is called the father of this G-initialed branch of science. That's genetics. Try again, green. Yes, ma'am.
25.
Okay, we will switch that back. Okay, go. Who's picking? Green.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. All right, teams, your question is as follows. The winner of this year's Nobel Prize in Physics said that this tiny little particle found in the atom called the neutrino does have this, that term often confused with weight, but it's not dependent on gravity. It has bulk, so it has what? That's often confused with the term weight, Cherokee Lane.
Mass.
That's it, yeah. Okay, red.
Me, you gotta do
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points is a two-part answer. Teams, when animals like ourselves lick our wounds, two things in our saliva are helping you to heal better. What two things come out of that saliva to make that wound heal better? What can that do for that cut? Come on, Cherokee Lane, tough question. You can do it.
Blood clot.
And?
The part.
What you think?
Blood clot.
Oh, I'm sorry. You made a good start. Okay, Cooper Lane, you got an assist here. Two things. It's in the saliva, licking the wounds. What's it do? It's an antibiotic, and it's also an anticoagulant. It helps the blood to clot. You were halfway there. Go green. Let's go.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Team's question is as follows. People today are eating more and more of these seeds because they contain a lot of nutrients, but people used to, Wilson?
Sunflower seeds?
Not sunflower seeds. Cherokee Lane got a chance here. These seeds that people are eating because they're highly nutritious were before, listen to me, were before used by people. They put them all over statues like SpongeBob's and all to grow this green fuzz as Christmas gifts. What kind of seeds were they?
It was pine.
Chia seeds. Chia. Chia seeds. Yeah, Brooklyn remembers. Try green. Come on.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams. Kelp is a seaweed, but it is also a brown version of these A-initial tiny plants. Cooper Lane.
Algae.
Algae, yeah, it's a brown algae. Good. Where?
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category. Teams. When plants first started to grow on this earth, they were mostly little mosses. But then more and more trees, big trees came. And as we had more and more big trees, we then had a drop in this gas in the atmosphere. To 25 points, a drop in what? Wilson.
Nitrogen?
No, sir. Good try. Cherokee Lane, with more and more trees, there was a drop in what gas in our atmosphere?
Carbon dioxide?
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Good. Go. For photosynthesis, go Abenoff, let's go.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20. Your question is a visual question. Look at the monitor if you would, please. Teams, recently, paleontologists have decoded all of the genes, the entire genome of that creature you see on the left there. He is a primitive man, an N-initialed relative. Those ancient men are known as what kind of people with an N? All right, Abenoff.
Native Americans?
Ooh, that's a good try. Not Native Americans. These ancestors to modern human beings, do you know what they are, Wilson? Neanderthals. Try again, Red.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. There's another visual question. Look back to the monitor, if you would, and just kind of crane your neck to see that over there. Teams, the most famous microorganism. Anybody who's ever looked through a microscope can see this A-initialed organism that has a nucleus and is kind of a formless blob of protoplasm. Do you know its name? It's an amoeba. An amoeba. Try again, Red. Whoa, the buzzer says we won't get to ask any more questions. It looks like Cooper Lane has done it. We'll check that score and be back with you in a moment. Don't go away.
I tell people I have 3 kids, one of them's adopted, I just don't know which one.
I can't imagine having to be in a birth mother's position to make that choice.
You know, I was kind of just asking her, you know, what is your motivation? Why are you doing this? And she looked at me and she said, because you can give my son a life that I could not.
We always tell her, thank you. He is such a blessing to us.
Every day is just a ray of sunshine from him. So we're Chanda and Brian, and we chose adoption.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the game today as much as we did here in the studio. Everybody had so much energy here. Our final tally is Cherokee Lane, 135. Cooper Lane, 170. In the Battle of the Lanes, it's the Coopers, George and Wilson and Drexel and Miss Arcolita. Congratulations to your team. And look at all the alternates back there. We have Brian and Jan and Sinai, and they're all very happy over there. Let's see some big smiles here. You guys, I don't want you to leave. I waited 30 years to see you. Brooklyn and Abenoff and Naya did a really nice job here today. Let's give them a hand. Good job. Wonderful first appearance. Miss Hardy, thank you for doing all of this because I know you wanted this to happen. Miss St. John and also Miss Smith, thank you for all the work you put in. And Jared, congratulations to you too. I hope you get to keep those shirts because you've earned them here today. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. We'll see you next time on Science Bowl. Bye-bye.